In the event that the IMS controller displays a load cell alarm, the discrepant load cell will need to be replaced. Additions will be stopped while replacing a load cell. Power down. Tampering with load cells will result in alarms that will stop additions. Load cells should only be replaced by trained riggers. Have blocking on hand to support the loader after it has been jacked up. Remove the 2 cotter pins. Loosen the bolts securing the bad load cell to the load cell mount. Use the jacking point on the addition system leg and a hydraulic jack to raise the leg high enough to remove the bad load cell. Once the leg is lifted, use a block to secure the leg in the event of jack failure. Remove the top and bottom pins above and below the load cell. Remove old load cell and install the new load cell and bolt in place. Verify that the load cell is not binding in the mount. The load cell should be centralized in the mount with a gap on both sides of the load cell where the support pins go through the mount. The arrow on the end of the load cell should be pointing down. Gently lower the addition system leg. Do not slam the leg down on the new load cell. This kind of shock can cause damage. Loosen and separate all conduit connections on the load cell loop between the controller and the bad load cell. Pulling wire cables without breaking these connections is impossible. Remove the large hex plug or unbolt the port cover located on the side of the skid. The load cell cables run through the skid legs. Load cell wire cables will be accessed and pulled via the port. Verify you are handling the correct load cell wire connections and then disconnect load cell wires from the terminal strip inside the controller. Attach a nylon line to the load cell wire cable using electrical tape. If more than one load cell is being replaced, stagger the nylon line attachment points for the load cell wires to avoid creating a wad of tape and wire cable too wide to pull through the conduit. Tie off the other end of the nylon line coming out of the controller enclosure so that the end will not be pulled into the conduit. Use electrical soap to lubricate the wire cable for easier pulling. Pull the wire cable out of the open port on the load cell skid. The other end of the nylon line should still be run through and out of the controller enclosure and tied off. Cut the nylon line to release the load cell cable and tie off the line for later use. Tie a new nylon line to the wire cable and pull through the load cell skid and load cell conduit. Cut the nylon line to release the load cell wires. At this point, there should be nylon line strung from the controller enclosure to the open port on the load cell skid, and from the open port to the conduit that attaches to the load cell. Attach the nylon line exiting from the load cell conduit to the new load cell wire cable and pull through to the open load cell skid port. Cut the nylon line. Attach the load cell wire cable to the nylon line that leads to the controller enclosure. Pull the cable through. Connect the wires to the appropriate terminations on the terminal strip. The indicated weight may shift with the installation of the good load cell, but recalibration of the loop should not be required. If in doubt, place a known weight on the loader and check the controller weight indication. If it increased by the correct amount, the calibration is good. The load cell alarm will not clear until power is cycled to the controller. Turn off power for 30 seconds and then power back up.